Thanks for staying with us. Former National Head of the Hawks, Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya, says the confusion surrounding the raid on alleged crime syndicate figure Katiso KT Molefe's home in Sandton in 2024 is due to leadership lapses and poor oversight. Testifying at the Madlanga Commission, Lebeya criticized KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo. He said that they wrongfully suggested he dispatch the Hawks to shut down the operation at Molefe's residence.
One may reasonably conclude that if Lieutenant General Khumalo had informed me as the national head of the DPCI then about the operation, or if upon receiving a report about the presence of the members of the Hawks at the scene, he had checked with me, the situation would not have occurred. It is unfortunate that he cited the issue of trust.
10.
It is vital from the outset. It is vital to mention from the outset that the correct position which will be demonstrated is as follows. I do not know Mr. Katiso Molefe. I was not contacted by Mr. Katiso Molefe. I was contacted by Malcolm X. I directed two senior managers to verify the allegations of persons who were said to be claiming to be members of the DPCI and to have been sent by me. I have never instructed the members of the DPCI to interrupt a legitimate police operation.
Security Strategist Andy Mashaile is in studio with us to talk about this story. Good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. So, He says he doesn't know Katiso Molefe. There's a lot that also came out, but ultimately, during cross-examination, it's not going to be simple as that, is it?
Bongi, whilst you and I don't know the details in terms of what is going on or what went down, one would want to believe his testimony, given the conviction of a certain Thabo Teletsani who pretended to be General Lebeya, using General Lebeya's profile photo, phoning people and telling them that their phones have been compromised and they must pay him an X amount of money. With that at the back of our discussion, at the back of our minds discussion, one would have sent out police officers from the Hawks to go and check who claims to be from the Hawks when I don't know of the operation. Up to so far, I have not been convinced that Katiso Molefe phoned General Lebeya directly. If you go the rabbit hole of you delete, we retrieve, I would believe if there were messages exchange of social media. Who knows what? Maybe it will still come through tomorrow that there was communication between yourself, General Lebeya, and Katiso Molefe. But knowing him, I tend to trust him. He's a very difficult man, even to help people like us who know him when you want him to give advice, let alone on the phone. And having sat with him on a commission that deals with law enforcement enhancement with Andy Mutibi, former IDEC head Andrea Johnson, General Masemola, General Sibia, somewhere at OR when we were finalizing the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council's report by Minister Firoz Kachalia. We sat in on that commission, a very difficult man to get near to, and let alone the challenges that he faces. I have also experienced that kind of a challenge where when someone knows me, will give me a call and say, Bongiwe will call you, please help her. Yeah, even if you can't help, refer her to your network. These are some of the challenges that when you have the numbers of these individuals held by some of these people, you end up in a situation where you get into this kind of trouble.
How much difficulty, though, also is it going to likely, possibly pose for him that, yes, he speaks about this phone call he got from Malcolm X, and he says that I didn't get a call from Katiso Molefe, but there is, of course, the issue that came out, which wasn't canvassed a lot, but you can tell that it's probably going to be later, to say you wanted to know if they were fake Hawks officers there, but when it comes to following up, when they were done with the operation, you say that it was an operational matter. Those operational commanders would have dealt with it and closed the matter and say that it didn't happen. But wouldn't you want to know, given the history you've shared about somebody impersonating him, to say, give me the full details of what would have happened here?
You would want to know. And in this instance, the divisional commissioner, a friend and a former colleague, General Dumisani Mboto, as the divisional commissioner, he being the one who dispatched Klenki and the captain, you would have wanted him to indicate to you that national head, as they referred to him, national head, this is the situation, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you go on your way. Remember, we are told that it was during an award ceremony when the call came through and he phoned the instructed the divisional commissioner. So you would want to have those details. And me knowing him as a stickler for detail, I would have expected that. Maybe tomorrow or in the next few days or in response time, we will get to know better in terms of what transpired after the report from the operatives on the ground who fed back through Klenki and up to General Dumisani Mboto. And both of them, the divisional commissioner and the national head, obviously they would have been very far away from the operations. So you would expect that chain of communication to lead up to a situation that is loaded with integrity in terms of what you are supposed to do.
He speaks about, you know, when he was just giving us a brief history of some of the challenges that he would have, you know, faced. He speaks about, for example, Malesela Defo and him writing, you know, even as high as the presidency about him and his, you know, the fact that he believes he's not suitable for the role. And then at the same time, that particular call he describes of, you know, he says came from Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan wanting to know, that's according to General Lebeya, wanting to know about the Phala investigation and where it is at the time. And he says, I didn't want to give that information, but he says that he was sitting with someone who, you know, he called a friend, Dr. Bejani Chauke. He says, how important is it going to be for the commission to even get to the bottom of that? Because that particular phone call also quite telling for someone who also appeared before the commission, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan.
Mr. Paul O'Sullivan and Ntate Lebeya have a history of not good relationships. After Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, it's national and public knowledge. After Mr. Paul O'Sullivan was charged for GBV, and that Lebeya was instrumental in ensuring that there is that case registered against Mr. Paul O'Sullivan for the gender-based violence case that was registered by General Lebeya and people around that ecosystem of opening up a case. Him calling General Lebeya, like I said, hey, I know, Lobaba looked difficult to Lebeya. He would not have given him anything. Take into consideration the history and take into consideration the intrusion that some of the police officers did not welcome from Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. So the chats between, or the conversation between Ntate Lebeya and Ntate Bejani, I'm not certain if it would relate, one, to the matter that is on the floor before the commission, two, whether the commission would want to know what their discussions were about. Was it about Phala or something else? So I think the commission can ask questions that would then satisfy satisfy itself as well as the South Africans out there who want to know. Obviously, extending what is testifying about to the Parliament.
As a final one then, before I let you go quickly, how important will it be, though, for some of the matters, particularly that Sandton takedown operation, for us to understand a lot more about it? Because, yes, we've heard from some of those who were, the witnesses who were curtailed. We never got to lay our eyes on them. But it's still quite a significant matter enough for the Commission to also probe further.
Your question says to me, what's the next step in this matter, just of the takedown? The next step is to get Malcolm X to bring, to give the phone over for a Section 205, the downloads of the phones and many other things, so that we can satisfy ourselves. I'm now making Malcolm X number one in terms of the devices that must be downloaded, that of Malcolm X and of Ntate Katiso Molefe, so that you get a better picture. We will then be able to see and even pick up other things from the phone Ntate Malcolm X that would then indicate. Obviously, your Section 205 is very interesting. It will show you of the location and many other things in that context.
All right, appreciate your time. Let's see then what happens when cross-examination starts, because today he managed to get through his statement, so quite a lot still to come as far as that testimony is concerned. That is Security Strategist Andy Mashaile speaking to us about the developments in the Madlanga Commission.